Let's talk taters and tags. We've already played some taters. We've already played one of my most standard and beloved tags on that arrangement of The Gal I Left Behind Me. So this is just kind of a few more examples and also some talk about the functions of these components of music. So we already know that a tater is a count-off figure, and we played those on an open G string way back in our pick direction and alternating strokes lesson. So I can kick off any tune using that figure on the root note of the key. So say I'm kicking off a tune in G, I can just use my open G string. That would be 4 taters, and that's a fine place to kick it off. I could extend that and play 8 taters. 1 tater, 2 tater, 3 tater, 4 tater, 1 tater, 2 tater, 3 tater, 4. So that's 2 full measures, which is 8 taters. We typically don't go any further than that. If I am the accompanist, if I'm playing rhythm, and I'm standing next to a fiddle player or another guitar player who's kicking off a song with taters, I'm going to start strumming after 4 taters because I don't know when they're going to start the tune. They might start after 4 taters, and then I'm strumming, ready to go, backing them up. If they extend it and play 8 taters, I'm strumming over the second set of taters, and it sounds great when you do that. So, little tidbit there, if you are strumming rhythm, always start strumming after 4 taters. So let's go back to the key of C here and check out some basic taters. Our first example is just basic 4 taters using a low C note. 1 tater, 2 tater, 3 tater, 4 tater. There you go. Our next example is 8 taters. And why don't you play this with me? I'll count you in. We'll play basic 8 taters on a C note down here on the A string 3rd fret. I'll count you in. We'll do this without a click. Ready and a go, and down, down, up, down, down, up, 3 tater, 4 tater, 5 tater, 6 tater, 7 tater, 8 tater. If I was kicking off a tune in D, I can just use the D string. You've always got just that basic version of a tater using the root note. And then there's lots of fun ways you can decorate these taters. I'll give you some ideas, and you can come up with some ideas on your own, I'm sure. Here's one way of decorating some taters on the low C note. You can just hammer on from the 2nd fret to that C note on the 3rd fret this way. And when you're doing that type of hammer on, only do it at the beginning of the measure. And this is just a stylistic thing. You don't hear people go. To me, that just sounds redundant and not very classy. I like to hear this. If you extend it, do it again at the beginning of the next measure. Then you're ready to start your tune in C. So that leads us to the next point, that at the end of the taters, you might have some pickup notes to contend with, as we do in Gal I Left Behind Me. So in that last example with the variations, I had the taters written in and those pickup notes also written in. So we did 4 taters decorated this way in the higher octave. And you don't have time for those last 2 down ups because those are the pickup notes to the melody. So understanding where your pickup notes are and where they fit in the end of that sequence of taters is important, and you'll just get the feel for that as you go, and you'll also see it written out real specifically in our tune examples as we move forward. So for now, why don't we just practice this example 4, 8 taters decorated in the higher octave. Let's give it a try. a ready and a go, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? You'll hear some players, like Norman Blake, will kick off a song just by strumming a chord. You know, he might kick off Gal Left Behind Me that way, by just strumming a chord for a measure or for 2 measures. It's the same concept, and it's just a way of replacing a count off by using something musical to count off the tune. Example 5 has us using 8 taters to kick off the Gal I Left Behind Me. And I didn't do that on that arrangement, and this is going to happen often in our arrangements just so it fits in with the count off of the backing tracks. So say the backing track is irrelevant here and we're just jamming together, and you decide to kick off this tune. I don't know how many taters you're going to do. You might decide to do 4, you might decide to do 8. So let's say you've decided to do 8 taters to kick off the Gal I Left Behind Me, and that is this next example. So I'm just going to count you in, and we're going to play this together, and you got to anticipate where those pickup notes are to the melody and hit them at the right spot at the end of that second measure. Okay? If you miss it, you can just run it back and try it again. But let's give it a shot here, and we're playing 8 taters, and then the first full measure of that melody of Gal I Left Behind Me. And I'll count you in here. We don't need a click. Here we go. A 1 and a 2 and a ready and a go, and. Cool. Did you catch it that first try? Great. If you didn't, no worries. We got a rewind button.